This is a short version of a film we would like to make if we can secure the funding. Interested producers can contact us via our Facebook page. The link can be found in the description to this video. Welcome to World War II Wendal. Today our video starts here, in the beautiful English village of Stoughton in Leicestershire. 100 years ago today, on the 5th of July 1919, beautiful 21-year-old Bella Wright, known to all as Bella, left her mother at home to post some letters at the post office in the neighbouring village of Evington. The family lived in this small cottage to the right, provided by the local farmer, where her father and brother tended the cattle. As she cycled away, little did Bella's mother know she would never see her daughter alive again. As she approached Evington, Bella handily bumped into a familiar face doing her rounds. Kathleen Powers was the local postmistress, who along with her husband, a carpenter, ran Evington's village shop that provided everything from cream teas to coffins. Sadly for Bella, within hours she was in need of the latter. Mrs. Powers happily took Bella's letters from her and noticed one was addressed to her sweetheart, Archie Ward, who was serving as a stoker aboard HMS Dearden with the Royal Navy at Portsmouth. With a wave, Bella left the postmistress and headed towards her Uncle George's house in the village of Goulby, about 4 miles away. She was excited to visit, as her cousin Margaret was there, and they hadn't seen each other since Margaret moved away to start a family. Unfortunately for Bella, she soon developed a problem with one of her wheels, and it was here, on this corner, that a fellow cyclist and apparent good Samaritan stopped to offer his assistance. They managed to get the bike going again, and the chap offered to accompany Bella to her uncle's, in case of any further problems. Bella said it wasn't necessary, but the man insisted, and they went on their way. The couple arrived at Uncle George's house at around 7:25 in the evening. As Bella entered the door, she bid farewell to her companion. The man left, and Bella enjoyed some time with her cousin, her husband, and their 2 young children. As the time approached for Bella to leave, her Uncle George and his son-in-law Jim glanced out of the window and was shocked to see that the stranger had reappeared. Bella assured them that if he was still there when she left, she would give him the slip. The man vanished again, and Bella decided that now was the time to go. Bella told Jim about the trouble she was having with her bike, and him being a cycling enthusiast, offered to have a look at it for her. He soon diagnosed the problem, and with a few twists of his spanner, the bike was ready to roll. There was too much giving the wheel, being his diagnosis. At this very point, the strange man pulled up again. Bella's inquisitive uncle asked of the man, but Bella simply replied he was nobody, just somebody she had met on the way there. Jim noticed the stranger had a decent bike and went to have a closer look at it. He found it to be a green gents BSA with a highly unusual backpedalling brake that worked from a crank. Jim's eye for detail was fantastic, as he also noticed the open centre gear case, Brooks saddle, and that the 3-speed control had recently been repaired with a new cable. Bella set off, her companion just behind her. Just half an hour later, at 9:25 p.m, on this very spot in Stretton Parva, a local farmer named Joseph Cowell was moving his cattle into a nearby field when he found the body of a young woman lying half on the verge and half on the road. Beside her, a fallen bicycle. He crouched beside her and noticed her blood-covered face. Realising the girl was not conscious, he lifted her from the road to place her onto some nearby grass. Blood slowly trickled from her nostrils as her head rolled back. "God have mercy," Joseph said, as he checked for signs of life, only to find none. Joseph moved the bike from the road, sent for the local doctor, dispatched 2 men to guard the girl, then set off for the nearest police station on his horse and cart. By the time Police Constable Alfred Hall arrived at 10:30 p.m, daylight had gone. He surveyed the scene, getting as much information as he could from the farmer, before reasonably coming to the conclusion that the poor girl had likely fallen off her bike, hit her head and died of her injuries. It was noted that none of the men knew who the girl was. The body was gently placed onto the farmer's cart, and the sad gathering slowly began to move up the road. They hadn't gone far when they were greeted with some headlights. Local doctor Edward Williams pulled up and briefly examined the girl in the back of the cart. Sudden hemorrhage, he provisionally diagnosed. The body was taken to a disused chapel in the nearby village for a closer examination. The policeman wheeled the bicycle into this former chapel, as the farmer and the doctor arranged the girl on a makeshift table lit only by candles. The doctor examined the body. Still warm, he noted, and the limbs moved freely. Dead for no more than 2 hours. He acknowledged the amount of blood on her hairline and severe bruising of her cheek just below the left eye. Sudden hemorrhage and collapse, he told the constable, before briskly setting off home. The other men went, and P.C. Hall was left with the girl in the old chapel. He straightened her body and folded her arms, blew out the candles and locked the door, leaving with a sense that something just was not right. That night, P.C. Hall struggled to sleep as he wondered what could have happened to the girl on the bike. He wasn't the only one who had a sleepless night. Back in Stoughton, Bella's mother had sat up all night waiting for her daughter to return. At 6 a.m, she set off to the post office in Evington to search for any word of her missing daughter. It was about at this time P.C. Hall had returned to the scene to try and figure out what had happened to the girl. He noticed the absence of any tyre skid marks and a pool of blood where her head had lay. Cycling accident. Something just wasn't ringing true. He went back home for his dinner, but could not let it lie. It was now that reports reached him of a missing 21-year-old named Bella Wright from Stoughton. Sandwiches ate, he returned once more to the scene and started a fingertip search of the road and verge. That was when he found it. Trodden into the road by a cow's hoof, Hall found a .455 calibre bullet. A bullet found next to a dead body. You didn't have to be Sherlock Holmes to work this one out. He spoke once more to the doctor, who reluctantly agreed to call by later and have another look at the body. Whilst waiting for the doctor to arrive back at the makeshift morgue, P.C. Hall began to clean the dried blood from the poor victim's face. As he cleaned her cheek, Hall, a World War I veteran, spotted the entrance hole that could only have been made by a bullet. The doctor arrived and they found the exit wound on the opposite side of her head. This was now a murder inquiry. The search began for the mysterious man on the unique green bicycle. The police, despite nationwide appeals, drew a blank, and 7 long months passed before they had a breakthrough. A canal boatman found his rope snagged on a large item just up the canal, near to Leicester city centre. He pulled the item up and found it to be a green BSA bicycle. Realising the potential significance of his find, he took it to the police. The police showed the find to Bella's cousin's husband, Jim, who positively identified it as the bike the stranger had been riding. They discovered that the serial numbers had been filed off, so took the bike to a local cycle shop. The shop owner found a hidden set of numbers between the forks on the bike. This huge find led to some amazing detective work, as the police via 4 different cycle shops traced the original owner. The bike originally belonged to a Mr. Ronald Light, who had recently been appointed assistant master at a school in Cheltenham. At the time of the murder, he was living here, Highfield Street, with his wealthy, widowed mother and their maid. The police visited Light in Cheltenham and brought him back to Leicester to help with their inquiries. Light denied all knowledge of ever owning the bike or ever meeting Bella, but his lie soon started to fall apart. He was identified by Jim, Bella's cousin's husband. A cycle repair shop had recently worked on the bike for Light and also positively identified him. Light's character was called into doubt when it emerged he had given false references to gain the teaching position in Cheltenham. He had been removed from his regiment for writing lewd graffiti in a toilet block during World War I. He was later court-martialled for forging documents, and an accusation was made about him attacking a French girl. He had been expelled from his posh school, aged 17, for lifting a little girl's dress above her head. There was a lengthy list of accusations in Light's past. The police searched the canal at the spot that the bike was found and discovered a leather holster and a further 12 live .455 calibre rounds. The holster was subsequently proven to belong to Ronald Light. No gun was ever found. The case went to court and Light's mother managed to secure the top barrister of the day, Sir Edward Marshall Hall, King's Counsel. The prosecution argued that Light had shot Bella after she refused his advances. It was then that Light shocked everybody. He admitted to owning the green bicycle, the holster and the bullets found in the canal, but denied having killed Bella. He told how he left her alive and well shortly after leaving her uncle's house. He said he dumped the items out of fear that he may get mixed up in the whole affair and cause distress to his mother. Amazingly, the jury fell for it and found him not guilty. After 100 years, some fresh evidence has come to light in this book by Anthony M. Brown. It alleges that Light admitted to throwing the gun, along with another one he owned, into the canal at a specified location. Today, using powerful magnets, we're going to search that spot for those guns. If we can find them, it will prove once and for all that Ronald Light killed Bella Wright without a shadow of a doubt. Police frogmen entered the water just here a couple of years ago searching for these guns, but found the water to be too silted up. It was too murky. There was no visibility. Now our magnets, they'll cut through that silt. If we make any sort of contact with these guns, with these weapons, we're going to be bringing them to the surface. Let's magnet fish in. Let's find them weapons. First throw then. What are the odds we're going to find it on the first throw? 0.
0.
He's in. Ian's using a 500 kilogram pull double-sided magnet. Does it feel heavy? Now, bubbles are always a sign that you're either disturbing the bottom of the canal or you're pulling something up. Oh, he's got something. Oh, it's something. What is that?
It's a knife.
That's a craft knife, isn't it? So straight away, first throw, we found a knife. Now, it's not what we were looking for. That'll end up going in the bin, that will. Carry on here.
Feels like someone's coming through the lot.
That's all right. Just a tin, so that'll go in Callum's bucket for recycling. Anything else on there?
No.
Nothing good.
Makes you wonder how far he threw it, wouldn't it?
How far he threw it?
Yeah.
Well, Ronald Light was 5'6" and a bit weedy. So you imagine me and you. There's no way he's going to be able to throw a gun further than we can throw a magnet.
Yeah. Be nice to find it in today, though.
Oh, that'd be dream stuff, wouldn't it? Not looking good. Oh, what's that? What's that? Looks like a bullet. That's like a bullet. Is it? Is it a bullet?
Yeah. Shaped like it, isn't it?
So you'd think bullets would be brass or lead, but no, I think that's a nut and bolt. I'll give it a little tap with a hammer in a minute, but I don't think that's anything good.
No button or something? Oh no.
No.
Ring?
Let's carry on.
Just one further.
Beast throw. Something heavy.
Either a rock's out there or something, it's just gone over something.
Something big out there. It's like a peggy.
Not sure what that is.
No. Definitely not a gun.
Peg. Another round. Another round thing.
Let's see how the boys are doing. Found anything good, boys?
No.
What you got, beef man? Not too sure what that is. It's not a gun though. It's not a gun. Lucky first throw then. What's that, about 15-20 metres?
Yeah.
I don't think Ronald Light would be able to throw that weapon any further than that.
No.
Bubbles. Something on it. What's that then?
Hey!
It's a bolt. Slide bolt.
I need mine from my back gate.
Now, if it was a bolt action rifle, we might be talking a different sort of thing, but yeah. Nothing good on the other side. Try again. Something on this. As it comes off.
Comb in the area. That's how we're doing it.
What I'm trying to do, cover as much ground. Problem is we'd have to actually touch the gun to bring it out. So we'd have to make some sort of contact. Beautiful day. Just hope we can find something. And you think as well, he'd have been trying to throw this in before anyone noticed him, so he's not going to stand here, take a run up and throw, is he? Literally, he's going to be stood here, quick check around, no one's looking, that's in. Now it's going to be on the end of that. Something on it. Is it what's left of a service revolver? That's like part of a screwdriver to me, does it you?
Yep.
Not a gun, is it?
No.
No. Some sort of screwdriver. Nothing good yet then, we've been here about half an hour. Best thing we've found is the knife that Ian found on his first throw. But we're not giving up. Cool. Who's going to make themselves up here, right? Mine's not very heavy. Come. Little springy. Oh! Ian! Is that a bullet or a screw? Because we've had a false alarm already today, haven't we?
Screw, yeah, that.
It's not. That ain't. That's a bullet, man. That's a bullet.
That's looking like a bullet.
That's a bullet, that.
Got anything on the end?
No, because it'll be on the cartridge, not on the bullet itself.
Where did you just chuck that then?
Oh, see where the mud pile is there? Aim for that.
Okay.
Aim for that mud pile. Thing is though, that's the wrong size bullet.
Oh.
That, I'm pretty sure, is a 303 round.
303.
Yeah, that's not what we're looking for. That's what you'd find in your Lee Enfields, in your Bren guns, in your rifles.
It's a fine.
It's a bullet.
What?
I'm sure it's a bullet. Can't be anything. That can't be anything else. Because you can even see Is that the line where it would have been in? It's hard to tell because it's all... You got the wire brush?
Yeah, it's in the bucket over there.
Right. Okay. Let's see if this will do it without taking my fingers off. We're gonna have to take that back then, give that a clean up. But I think that's a bullet. I think that's 303. So we're getting there. Aim for that dirt pile there.
Yeah.
So here's all the silt that the police were talking about. That's why they couldn't see anything on the bottom of the canal. Come on, I'm determined now.
Yeah.
Now we've just seen what we're hoping is a glove floating in the water just there. But if it's not, I think we might have just found somebody's hand or even a body. Now if it moves, it's not attached to somebody and we're alright. I think that's moving, don't you? That's moving, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's going on the current, so no, we're safe. Thank God for that. Ian's found a little jetty. Before this fairly modern wall was built, there's some old engineering bricks forming a step down there. So you never know, maybe Ronald climbed down here,
Shelter.
just out of sight, and threw the guns in. And exactly 100 years later to the day, Ian comes along and makes a find. Not with that throw. The bike itself was found a couple of miles up the river. As it meanders through Leicester. Shout from Ian, shout from Ian.
I don't know if I'm stuck.
There's the metal sides down there.
I can't see. Hold on. See it? Right, come on.
I can't see through the weeds. What's Ian after there then? Is it a gun? Is it the gun? One of the guns.
See that?
Do you think he could have just dropped it over the edge then?
Yeah.
You know, off the jetty, or even kicked it in, or?
It's like,
Yeah. Yeah, literally just dropped it straight down. The bullet we found turned out to be of a .303 calibre, so as we suspected at the waterside, not linked to the case, and probably a World War II Home Guard relic. Well, the story ends just 100 metres from where it started. The house Bella shared with her family is just over there, in the shadows of the church. And she's been here for the last 100 years, her murderer never convicted. Ronald Light lived to the ripe old age of 89 years old. I bet nobody's putting flowers on his grave this weekend. Unfortunately, we failed. This time anyway.